I love Fallout 76. I love it with a passion. But, my God. One of the biggest issues I see with the game right now is the weight system. There should be no point where a fucking grenade launcher weighs less than a pistol.
Right.
And you know what? You know what the worst part is? There's only one perk for well, other than melee weapons. Heavy weapons are the only guns that you can reduce the weight of via perk.
Right.
Bear arms is an amazing perk. It allows me to carry a lot of good weapons, but I like to carry I like to carry things like the assault rifle and stuff, but in combat rifles and shotguns. But I can't. But that just adds to my weight tally a lot, making us use backpacks, deep pocketed armors, and even calibrated shocks and a power armor, else we can't sprint.
Right. I don't think anyone enjoys that.
No.
Either. I can't think of a single player that actually want that either at all. The idea of being overweight with literally doing almost nothing but picking something up, it does hurt me to think about it.
It hurts me to think about having too many rations on me. I don't use chems.
Okay.
But I do pack a lot of water and other food with me, but I can't do that simply because if I carry too much, I can't carry other things like weapons and ammo and armor and stuff.
Let me ask you a question then, Bob. Do you use a True Hiker, which makes food and non-chem related food and water specifically way less?
The way I have my perk... No, I do not. And the way I have my perk set up, I kind of can't because Through Hiker would ruin my ability to have White Knight, which I use for my armor. Since my armor isn't the most durable in the world, you know me, that my build is to try to be a tank and keep materials on me at all times.
Right.
And I have Lucky Break on luck as well, so my armor is lasting as long as it possibly can. I even have the highest defense armor that I can currently get, or get in the game, without having a bunch of different certain legendary modifiers.
Right.
I spent around 12,000 caps on 3-star legendary polymer deep-pocketed urban scout armor, and it has actually done me really well.
Right, till it breaks, and then you gotta repair it.
And it doesn't break that often, and with White Knight, it doesn't take that much to repair, and it repairs 200% with Fix It Good.
Okay.
But with all that, and the treated marine wetsuit, I'm trying to get shielded, but with that, I have around 350 defense, no power armor. But if I didn't have the deep-pocketed mods that I put on it, it would be a severe toll on my carry weight. I don't ever carry anything any extra body armor other than that and maybe the Trail Warden. That was
which I gave.
Amazingly enough, that goes even higher than my chest plate.
Right.
About 30 points higher in defense.
Right. Say, get it yourself as well. I believe you have to go do probably the Clarksburg shooting stuff. I believe you got to do something like that a couple times, or for the Pioneer Scouts, I believe, or something like that. Gave you Trail Warden. Very worth it. I agreed, and it was very great. But because I don't like armor that much, power armor included, I'd rather be just me, my gun, and the backpack if I can help it. But even with Vault Tech even with suggesting to other workers that I work with at Vault Tech, they don't understand it. They're not there enough to understand that picking up the Fat Man could weigh way more than the revolver. I don't have a lot of heavy weapons in my inventory. To me, heavy weapons are how much kick it has.
Here's my issue.
Everything.
If I pick up too many...
It's very heavy.
Here's my issue. I pick up too many assault rifles, I'm going to be sluggish as a damn...
Right.
It's bad. But if I could pick up all the Fat Mans and miniguns and auto grenade launchers that I want, but if I pick up a grenade launcher rifle, I'm pretty fucked.
Question: do you still have the 2-shot Gatling gun still?
Yes, I have them both.
I'm probably looking at getting that one back if possible.
Okay.
The one I gave you. Just a side note, because I'm still playing the game as we do that. I think the biggest concern I ever had with the weight was before a little bit before the Stash Box upgrade, we got 800, and a little bit after, there was at one point where I was like, even then recently, that was probably the minimum that I had with you. It was the most minimum breakdown I've ever had in this game before regarding weight. But I just liked it. The fact that we had the reason why I don't use armor or anything like that is because as I tell their players, it's just another reason to make to think you're good and carrying more weight. That's what happened. You give a better way to hold stuff, and it doesn't do anything. You add your weight, and eventually that weight that we just gave you is going to eventually become overcumbered again. You're going to be overweight again. You'll have to get rid of something. Even with 800 and the backpack capacity mod, even with all of that said and done, even the scrap box may be infinite for a time, and it does its own thing. But even then, you always find something that's heavier than your backpack can handle. That's why I would rather be me.
That's why I put the pocketed mod. See, it weighs 3.38, but it gives me 10 extra carry weight. My carry weight capacity is 410, which isn't bad.
Right, but what you're gonna do when you eventually start really finding that the materials to repair that scarce? I used to do that with leather, I believe, at one point, and it was fine. It did great. Deep-pocketed, and it did great ultra-light builds. I even threw in a couple in one of them that wasn't deep-pocketed to make it better defense. Eventually, one of the items of the resource got very scarce, and it almost got to the point where I was like, I have to make that decision. Keep the armor and keep the weight, or get rid of something else, because I'll be needing that stuff later on. And you know as well that armor can sometimes even be, strangely enough, like heavy raider armor. What the hell, bro? Heavy robot arms. Some of these come heavy on purpose. They give you more defense, but they weigh. Geez, I'm looking at a heavy combat armor. Just just level 20. It weighs 12 pounds or 6 ounces. That's what the 12.6. If it's a number before the die, it's in pounds. And then everything out there is in ounces. That's a lot of weight, even with the high capacity mod, which is the highest you can currently have. It gets hard to combat. Honestly, even with leather weighs 4, just 4, no decimals or anything. Some of it weighs less, like the arm weighs 2, and the legs weighs 2.5, but even then, still, you're holding a lot of stuff on it. I've even thought about getting sturdy armor and getting marine if I could help it. I only have the leg, a chest piece, one arm, right arm, and that's it, left and right arm. I don't have the leg yet. But still, even with sturdy, it weighs 3, weighs 8. For the chest piece seemed to always weigh more. And just not my forte. I mean, trappers are pretty cool because they get a backpack and other stuff, but it's still, it's a lot of weight in the greater scheme of it, in my opinion. When you could just have a backpack, but You have some defense, yeah, sure, but from my standpoint, I don't need. I'd rather run maybe a couple sturdy pieces of leather and be just dandy at level 50. It doesn't bother me a bit. In fact, I'm going to do that as we speak. I'm doing it right now, but, why not?
And
enough room.
It just comes down to the fact that I don't think the stash box should have the limit that it has. I think it should be at the very least 1,500.
Ooh, that's a whole lot now, buddy.
But here's the thing. I understand having the maximum carry weight you can get on a player 410, but why restrict the amount of resources you can have down to that much? That's players who don't have Fallout First, I understand that. But Fallout First doesn't hurt anything. It's there if you want to get it. Like I said, you don't have to.
Right.
But I still even think that players with Fallout First would struggle in the fact that, like with you had a lot of weapons that you wanted to keep.
Yes,
but they kept too much toll on your box, so you had to get rid of them.
Right.
And it may not even just be, weapons. It could be stockpiles on food, water, stuff you can't put in the scrap box.
Right. Amount of resources. Again, that's another thing I want to mention. You can wear armor you can make armor ultra light and all this weird stuff, but it costs something to do it. I'm about to run out of cloth. I've had cloth for days, and now I'm deciding to make some armor. And I'm probably I might run out of armor after this. Or cloth. I'm good. I've managed to do all of it, but geez, I have one cloth left. You need 2 to do anything. It's not my forte.
One of the things that I've stopped doing is selling my resources. If I have resources, I decide to keep them instead of selling them. Because one thing I'd notice is I'd have a bunch of aluminum or something, and then eventually I would want to cap out my vendor, and then I'd sell all that to the vendor, and then I would need it later, and then I'm just like, well, shit, I shouldn't have sold it. So what I do is, like I said before, I go to West Tech, and I take all those weapons down to the Watoga, and then I cap out my vendors almost every single day. Sure, there are some days where I skip out on that, but I usually try to get it done when I can.
But you may even feel then some days you don't need it, right? Personally, do you feel like every day is necessary to go do that?
I save up on caps for vending purposes, just in case someone needs something or would like to have something.
Right. You know me. That every night I'll go do a lift. As you probably have heard me say before, I'm getting a list before I go to bed. You've noticed me do that a whole lot, correct?
Yeah.
Every day I'll go and I'll set some stuff up for a just in case moment. If I can find a chunk of a certain item, usually I'll hunt for junk scrap out of the wazoo besides what my camp already makes. But mainly I go hunt for 8 items, as you probably have noticed before. It's not an easy task to do that.
And stim packs and right away can definitely keep a toll on your inventory as well.
When I do it, though, if I can always help it, I can get up in the next morning and feel like I have the resources I need as well. By doing so, the next day I get on, I feel like, in a sense, I have the ability to now, I get up and I'm like, yeah, you got all the stuff I needed. I don't have to worry about people, I don't have to worry about, you can't wear it. Apparently you can't wear the miner helmet over the combat arrest. I don't have to worry about when I get up saying, oh, well, I can't, now I can't do this because I don't have the food or of this junk item. I just have enough of it, just brutally stockpiled for days. I have junk scrap in this box every day. 64 aluminum, 105 fiber optic. And whenever I don't use a certain amount of time, I sell it. But gives me assurance that if I have to repair my generator at my camp or fix the weapon, which I'm probably going to have to do eventually, I feel like, I'm not going to screw myself over either. I feel completely assured that because I went the night before and didn't go to bed until I had everything where I felt necessary, I feel like it benefited me by doing that. You kind of get what I'm saying. Especially if anybody out in a group of people we play under, what I kind of have to deal with. I make sure it's all there, so in the morning I know it's there. I have food for the whole group of 20 people at any given point on my character. I usually even can spare ammo for people if they ask it. But that's all because I go up in the inn and I risk being overcumbered so bad. I risk it so much just to get what I need. Are you currently playing the game as well?
Yeah.
You think, side note, you think you'll be able to help me go to Thunder Mountain here in a second so we can go get him that lab coat for the thing?
Yeah, sure. I'm just doing what I need to do at Poseidon real quick. But,
Nice. You might find a piece there for the thing as well. I didn't know you were doing that, actually. I'm going to come help you before we go. But, in my opinion, it's not needed. I don't think Fallout 4 didn't have it as far as I'm aware. I mean, I played some of Fallout 4, but I didn't play a bunch.
It did.
Didn't have it either. Even then, it wasn't bad. But Fallout 76, it's like, oh yeah, you picked up a Fat Man and some mini nukes. If you don't have Bandolier and the Ordnance Express and bear arms, you wouldn't be able to carry that Fat Man and enough mini nukes to actually use it. And I kind of felt like that was a hindrance because there's people that will use it. You see people use it all the time. Things like Scorched Earth. I have specifically seen the guy run. That's all he ran the whole event. And though I wasn't too fond of it because of explosions and the lag, he was shooting off 10 or 20, maybe 30 by the end of the event. He was having a field day. And now that I think about it, I can only imagine the brutality required to do that as well. That seems awfully brutal, in my opinion, to do all of that. Just to carry that many Fat Men to throw off for a whole Scorched Earth event, he probably has it covered. But he probably had to do a lot of perk card hunting as well. Fun, right? The guy you were giving me? That's your story. Thanks. Okay. But, do we have anything else we want to chat about? Since
let me talk about fusion cores. I run a vampire's limb damage Gatling laser, and it is the best weapon I have on hand. If I'm ever in a pickle or I'm going on a West Tech run, I use that. And I don't bring, and you know this very well, I don't bring a whole lot of stim packs with me. I don't carry a whole lot of stim packs because I don't need them unless I have teammates that I need to revive. As long as I have my fusion cores or my Gatling laser, I'm fine on healing.
Of course. I do understand that as well. It's very understandable.
But fusion cores themselves weigh 3 pounds apiece.
Oh, yeah, they do. And if they're full, I heard they weigh a bit more, a little bit too. Not really more, but it feels like. You get it, though. People do that, though. I've seen people run enough fusion cores for their armor, as well as directly put up into it anything else. I was going to grab this GasMask for later. You know what I mean? It's hard. It really is. Really get to thinking about it truly. You kind of wonder, don't you? How do these people manage that? How do they that much fusion cores for a gun and the armor as well and be never needing?
I use power users, so armor isn't really the problem, but the gun can drain through. Which is why I wanted to find a vampire's Gatling laser with the limb damage and 25% faster fire rate. I want to try charging barrels with the faster fire rate because I have used that on an ultra site and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad in terms of fire. I might be able to manage that.
Right.
But I want it to also be level 50 as well. And that's another
Right.
thing. I'm looking for an ultrasight one as well. I just have a standard right now, but I want a vampire's ultrasight, which does more damage.
But you also, in my opinion, you should also be completely okay with getting a weapon that's not that level as well. On the if that's probably not going to happen. I'm always okay with whatever I get because sometimes getting the exact levels you want, sometimes just too hard to bother. That's why I'll take any level I get because finding my favorite gun in the whole game is probably my single action revolver. I don't even think it's a whole level 50. Double check that as well. It's a quad single action revolver. It's level 50. Normally you can't choose your levels for your guns, and usually I've been through enough in the past that before working with Vault-Tec requested my help, that I was just fine with whatever the hell I got, because to ask for anything higher than your level would be suicide, but to get something low for some people is saddening. They don't want anything lower than their level. But it stops at 50, guys, and I'm just fine with whatever I get. You give me all sorts of weird weaponry, like my quad westerns at level 30, I'll use it for a bit. And then when my daughter Mars gets a level 30 or around level 30, I'll give it to her because she could use it. She could use that odd weapon that runs 6 but runs 4 times over. Genius idea. But a lot of people want to buy quad or bloody some odd legendary status at level 50 will pay X amount of caps or message price when they're selling it. And then a lot of those people don't get, some of them might, but a lot of them, I'm willing to bet, don't get anything. They don't get a sale on it because they're so busy trying to get that one type thing specifically. Not everyone's going to want that, in my opinion. You kind of wonder, right?
Certain weapons max at 45. See, my vampire's getting laser is a level 45. But
right.
I try to go for as high as I can because of the stat max.
Right. But you should also be accepting if you can't find it after a certain amount of weeks.
Right.
But you should still be accepting and okay with getting something smaller, in my opinion, because then no big deal in the end of everything. You're not hurting yourself, in my opinion, because usually it's not that much, little less than usual, just to get it like that. So you're not hurting yourself, but you're not helping yourself either, because I am aware sometimes you get a little mad to get it a lower level, but hey, make it work. There's ways you can get around it. Right. Honestly, I believe that truly. There is a way you can get around it by getting a card or something like that, getting a perk card or something around it to make it where you can, that level 30 does level 50 power. I mean, Rifle Gaming did a video at one point of his build and the gun. He made a video last night I was looking at because I woke me up, ping. I looked by. He was talking about the best gun he uses that he's ever used, ever. And it was literally, without a doubt, one of the most brutal guns I've ever seen in game. But it works for him, too. He uses it to do his job. It's like his form of your vampire gun. It works for him the best. But I can only imagine how many times he went through looking for it. I don't really understand what some people really want it at that level. They really want level 50. They don't want nothing under, and they refuse to take anything under. Just because it's level 50 doesn't mean it full on doesn't help you because it's under. So I'm happy with whatever. But it's also just the game as well. I get trying to get a little bit of a boost too. Things. Do you have anything you want to talk about besides the weight system and fusion cores, Ben?
Yes, I do actually. People will go for, make no mistake, people will try to go for bloodied anything. Yeah, I would be more worried about getting vampires. Not in single shot weapons, single shot weapons, I would rather go for something different than vampires. But in full auto weapons that have a high fire rate, vampires is the way to go.
Right. I do agree with that. I mean, each is their own, but I would agree with you. They're screaming. I turned the TV up just a smidge to hear them, so they want to call a name.
I just don't see why people would want to hinder themselves so much as to being completely destroyed by a radium rifle or gamma gun, or even just a good shot, a good quick shot to hit.
But remember, those build like assassins only do one thing, and that's it. It's PvP. The radium rifle and the gamma gun were made ahead of time to combat that because we knew someone would do this. We knew someone would be kind of a nuisance at the beginning when we let y'all out of the vault. We knew there was going to be that guy. Like, I like this. I'm going to keep doing this. So we gave the Wasteland a radium rifle or a rifle. Oh, sorry, it causes radiation damage as well as regular damage, but then it also at the same time can heal a charged feral ghoul to its full health within 3 bullets. But you combat it with that. It keeps the bloody guy in check if he wants to be that guy. I have not seen a lot of them that are not that guy, because those two builds specifically make you feel like you're in power. It makes you feel like you got it covered, and everyone's out of Raider group.
That's the reason why I have an anti-armor, fully automatic gamma gun. If it comes down to the point to where a bloody build, because I will avoid PvP at most cost. But if he's gonna follow me and try to PvP me throughout multiple different servers, it takes a lot to get me to actually fight back. But if I do fight back, you better hope you're not a bloody build of sorts, because that gamma gun is going to tear up.
That quad radium rifle though, I must have given you a whole bunch of weird weapons, but I don't remember what I did with my quad radium.
You gave it to me in exchange for the combat rifle.
Was it a quad?
Yeah.
That's how quick I forgot. I've been loving that rifle so much I forgot already. That's okay. See? Are you enjoying it though?
Yes.
Since you have two radium-related weapons, are you enjoying?
I'm enjoying the hell out of this radium rifle. If I could get an automatic receiver on this, Jesus Christ.
I bet. I don't think there is one. If any guns I want in this game in the future, I would suggest a 9mm. Because, at one point it could have been in, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I want another semi-automatic handgun.
It was obtainable in the Vault-Tec Agricultural Center for some kind of fertilizer. And I want a quad 50 cal or minigun. Just once. Just for me, if anything at most, just for me. Just the idea of a gun that already has that gun. My favorite one is the 50 cal. I have a 50 cal in real life. It's very fun to shoot if you can actually pop the hits off. What is it? What is it? Scorched? That's not anything. Quad weapons, in my opinion, are the way to go. They're like quad weapons. They run excessive amounts of ammunition. So for guns such as a quad radium, that would be the way to go. Because that gun doesn't have a whole bunch in it anyway. Where are the creatures at that are hitting me?
Shit, I don't have any ammo for this gun.
I got him.
But yeah, I think we're gonna end this video off with that note.
Thank you, and thank you once again for having me. And I look forward to any more we have in the future. Do we have a taste for the viewers of what we're gonna be talking about next, just so we know what's going on ahead of time?
We're gonna be talking about workshops.
Yes. That's a long overdue talk I think is needed about the form of players, morale, and what I think could be done in exchange to help both the owner of the workshop and the community as well. I think that'd be a fun one to talk to. And I do look forward with that soon, Brahmite.
But
Very.
that is the end. That is our time. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.